Anyone who has played Red Dead Redemption 2 knows that Arthur Morgan eventually gets tuberculosis, and that is the sad ending of his story. But today I wanted to speak on Guarma specifically and how it affected his sickness and Arthur Morgan as a whole. A lot of people bring up the question of if Arthur didn't have to escape to Guarma, would he have been able to survive? Would the tuberculosis not have taken effect in him as the way it did? I truly believe that either way, he was a goner. As soon as Mr. Downs coughed on him, gave him that fucking dirty old spit, that was it. So, I do believe if he didn't have to go into that climate and be starved and dehydrated and fight a war that wasn't his, maybe it would have bought him an extra week or two. But no, I do believe that that would have happened either way. But of course, if you guys think anything different, if you guys have any other thoughts, theories, or anything like that, drop that down below. Honestly, this entire time period for Arthur, these past couple of weeks, would be a monumental period of time in Arthur's life. Losing figures like Lenny, his young brother, Hosea, his father figure, and so many other friends and very, very close members of his gang in such a small amount of time. Then right after being forced to jump onto a ship that later crashes, needing to swim to a shore of an unknown island, meeting up with his friends again.
Apparently, we're gonna be able to slip ashore in northern Cuba in a couple of days.
That's so.
Apparently.
Right around now is a very dark time for Arthur, where you can really see his distrust and honestly almost fear of Dutch, and where he can fully see his plans are falling apart, and he is no longer looking at the family. He is looking at how he can get himself out of this situation and maybe a couple of survivors with him.
I reckon we hold ourselves to ourselves and this is done and dusted.
Let's hope so. I ain't no sailor, but, that cloud look like good news to you?
That would be a good moment to explain a little bit what kind of outlaw Arthur even is. He is a man of principle who looks out for him and his own family. He cares a lot about the people around him, unlike a lot of different members of his gang and friends around him like Dutch and Micah, who, getting off this island, would be more happy about getting a warm pair of boots, a nice new bed, or a cup of coffee. Meanwhile, Arthur was worried about his friends, his family, trying to see who he can help get out of here. And even during this war, what they have to do to be able to get off the island. Bill himself almost has a fun time, same thing as Micah and Dutch. Meanwhile, Arthur is battling with the inner conflict of what he's doing on this island, why he's even here, what he did to get here, and what he's going to have to do to get away. And this scene is the first time that we're fighting against the guards slash soldiers of this island. And also during this scene, Javier gets fucking kidnapped, just stolen right in front of us. And Dutch doesn't even think twice about it. Dutch runs. Bill runs. Arthur, he stops. He thinks about it. We tell him that we're gonna go for him. Apparently Dutch was really probably one of if the other boys do not end up in Cuba, but they end up in a foreign land. Save him as well. Imprisoned, starved, dehydrated, and fighting amongst the locals of an island that speak a language that they don't even understand.
It will lead you right there.
Thank you.
The workers are somewhere in the jungle. Hopefully we can get to them before Fusa does.
Of course.
Gentlemen,
Well,
goodbye.
If this is a tropical paradise.
Now, of course, this is another important moment where Dutch, just go, 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 is already laying out a new plan, but Arthur, succumbing to his illness, not knowing what it is yet, tells him that he needs rest and tries to go to bed. But during his well-needed rest, he has a dream, a vision, one could say. Now, depending on your karma in this game, you already know this whole spiel of what you would see, but I personally believe that the canon result of this is that he sees the wolf in his dreams due to his terrible, terrible actions and his bad past, as he says, and he does try to change. He does take that as a result and really try to change, and that's what we see in the end of the game and before he passes away, and even trying to pass the torch down to John, trying to do whatever he can to save John. I believe this is the moment that changed Arthur into trying to do so and changing his life around.